Good morning, folks. Thanks for joining me. I'm Morris Donovan. I'm at Allstate Mechanical Repairs, and this is my business. I'm the manager, the workshop manager, the owner. And today, I'd like to present part B now of another vehicle that is overheated. If you watched part A, you would have seen what we did doing the relative compression test, how we found two very low compressions, and then we were able to determine which cylinders they were, and etc. Today, and I'm going to use this Chrysler now. It's a Chrysler V8, 5.1 litre, and it also has a bad misfire. It's lost coolant through a hose that's let go and ruptured, and so it's lost coolant, it's overheated. So I'm going to go through this in a slightly different way as I did on the Kia that we did before. This time, I've already done a visual. I know there's a hose leaking still. I know the coolant won't stay in the radiator. I don't need to go any further there. Because it's misfiring, I'm confident that there is internal damage, most likely a combustion leak through the cooling circuit because of overheating and warpage. But I want to determine which cylinder it is the quickest way possible. We saw one way of doing it. Now I want to use my scan tool to do it, and I'd like to take you through a course of how I'm going to use my scan tool to find this misfire and to save time. So if you'd like to join me, thank you. Okay, folks, I'm just going to find the vehicle, and we just go into USA vehicles. Need to find Chrysler. 2005, but I know I had to go 2006 because I had this problem when I tried it. Drive 5.7 litre. Okay, we're in engines. Yep. Loading up now. Okay, now shall we now go to misfiring, that's what we want. Okay, we've got 0, 0 for all cylinders, so let's start this car up. You can see the counter going up on the misfires. So obviously cylinder 8 and number 6 are the main ones that are misfiring. It looks a bit like actually number 6 is, yeah, they're both, number 6 is going up a bit more than number 8, although they're both as bad as each other. So look, we can see now we've got a problem with those two cylinders. Number 6 and number 8 happen to be beside each other. So I think very obvious there's a problem. Look at that, number 6 is definitely going up higher than number 8. So what I've done today, I've shown you the enhanced side of the scan tool, which has the ability of seeing those misfires. Not always is that available on a lot of the different types of vehicles, but this car does. Often you can go into the OBD2 side, and that will have the particular cars over 2008 and onwards should have misfire counts. And so there's so much to be gained by looking at the scan tool, and it is a quick way of diagnosing these sort of problems. So I think it's just worth showing you that, guys. It stands to reason that I needed to check the compression in this engine. Seeing so many misfires made me realise that I needed to find out a bit more why this was happening and making sure it was maybe a compression issue or not. So I decided to do a Pico Diagnostic compression check. The reason I chose Pico Diagnostic in lieu of probably using a high amp clamp on the battery cable was because I could not get to the battery. It was hidden somewhere, maybe in the boot, and the cables weren't anywhere to be seen easily to get to. In diagnostics, we look for the most easiest way to get the quickest results, to get the best results, and this in this case was the best way. It takes a very short time to hook up to the back of the alternator where the power goes to the alternator. It was easier to get to in this car. I earthed the other cable to the engine quite easily, and when we cranked the car over, I couldn't believe how little compression. Look at this where it says number 6. In fact, number 6 is one of the cylinders that was misfiring, but this doesn't show the order of the cylinders here. It's just figurative in here where we've got 8 cylinders, and it doesn't pick each cylinder as it was because we don't have it synced to number 1. But look, we know that this has to be number 6, and we know this has to be number 8 because of our misfire counts on the Snap-on Modis scan data that I saw. Incidentally, I used the Modis, by the way, as my choice of scan tool earlier, and the reason for that is this is an American-built car, and the Modis is built in America, and that scan tool is to my way of thinking, is better fitted to be used on a car like this. But anyhow, with this compression so low, I'm starting to think, oh my goodness, I mean, this is really no compression at all. There's no compression there, and I think that the reason there's no compression there is got to be more than just from the overheating, blowing the head, cracking the head, warping the head or whatever. You always get some compression even after a major blow up. Even that Kia we looked at had reasonable compression considering how much water was pumping out of it. So I need to look at why we've got no compression. Do I have a different problem as well? Maybe. But I need to find out more, and I need to check that. But anyhow, looking at this pattern, I'm used to the previous version of Pico which didn't actually show the pressures like this one does, and I've found out Rod Mayer, who's a member of TAT, actually emailed me when he saw what I was doing on video on the Kia, and he said to me, did I know about this new program that I can change it back to how we were used to seeing it, which is in percentages, which we got here, use pressure sensors. So let's just untick that for a minute, go there, and presto, we have percentages. I much prefer seeing percentages, mainly because we're not seeing a true compression figure. I mean, I think they calculate it fairly close, but it's not absolutely true. But what I mean by that is we could have low compression all around the engine and they'd all look good because it works out the evenness of each peak of the voltage as the starter motor is winding over and reaches the peak of combustion, and then it drops the voltage. So it works out that peak from the voltage. In fact, I can show you those peaks. It's fairly interesting. I'll pull this down for you. This is the voltage. This is the voltage as the motor's cranking over. And you can see it's a big gap here, and I'd say that's where there's no compression. And then we've got a smaller voltage raise and a bigger one here, and another gap there. That's probably where we're missing our other compression, I reckon. So you can see it's all up and down. And the Pico software gets a very nice pattern here, and as I said to you, it's more about presentation. If I showed this to the customer, it wouldn't mean too much, but if I just pull this back up again, if I show this to the customer, that means a lot. I believe they can see quite visually, and it's so such a well presented graph that they can relate to this. So anyhow, I've got to look at why we've got no compression almost. You might as well say none there and very little there. So I need to think, what is my next strategy? What's the quickest thing to do now? The quickest thing to my way of thinking is remove the spark plugs, visually look at the spark plugs. We'll pick number 6 cylinder, knowing it's the worst. Have a look at that first, and we might make a decision from there. We may do a leak down test, we may do something, but we need to have a look what those plugs look like. So we'll just move on from there. This is a spark plug, one of the 2 spark plugs per cylinder. This is one of the plugs out of cylinder 6, the one that had the most misfires. We don't have to look hard to see the electrodes being hammered down. There's no gap there. You can see how wet around the outside of the plug is, or not the outside, but the inside the plug is, around the porcelain and whatnot. And they've just had a real hammering, and there's obviously an internal problem with this engine, a major internal problem. I think that wetness is not coolant. I think that's engine oil. It just looks too sticky and yucky for it to be coolant, although it is a bit. It's hard to say, but look, there's something inside that cylinder that's caused this. We need to look a bit harder. We need to see what's going on and find out why this has happened. Something's ingested into the motor, something's broken in the motor, I don't know, but we need to find out. I think the next step will be is to put our camera down the bore and have a look in through the plug hole to see what's going on inside there. That'll pick up what the problem may be. Now with the camera in the cylinder, we can see the top of the piston, and hasn't it had a hammering? There's so much marking on the top of this piston, and oh my goodness, look, the ring land there has been broken on the edge of the piston there. No wonder we've got no compression. No wonder it's such a, it's so low in compression and whatnot. the damage in this motor is extensive. It's so extensive. There's even a groove here where the valves hit on the top of the piston. Now that shouldn't happen either. I'm just thinking maybe this broken piece of the piston has got caught into the valve at one time before it could close properly and jammed it open enough while the piston's coming up. Something's caused it to hit there, and I'm sure maybe the ring, the bore itself, the cylinder itself's had quite a scouring from all this contamination from the broken piston. Actually, I even wonder if the overheating of the engine has not seized that ring into the bore, into the cylinder, and caused such a stress on the piston that it's broken the piston. That's what could have happened, I'd say, guessing. But all I know now is this motor is, it's not worth repairing, I don't believe. It's another engine if he wants to continue with this motor. Otherwise, a total recondition of his engine if it's reconditionable. But yeah, I've got something now. I've got some hard evidence to show my customer, and it's all because of a little $40 camera that I have. It's a little bore camera I bought from J-Car. It's all it costs, $40, and I can see it can save me so much time. I don't have to do a leak down test and wonder still what's wrong, even though I know it's going to have a leak into the crankcase. I can see where the leak is, quite evidence where the leak is. And you know, we have so much modern technology that we can use these days, and some of it's not expensive, and we can use it to our advantage, and we can use it to give ourselves that professional way about how we present a problem like this to our customer. How easy is this now? The customer comes in, I just show him the pictures of his engine, or I could even take him out to his engine and hook up the camera. It only takes a few minutes. But look, we need this sort of technology to help us and aid us when we're doing diagnostic work. And I find, you know, before I started, I didn't know where I was going to go. So we do a visual on the spark plugs, and that's from that I knew where I had to go. It's like, you know, you might have to do a leak down test, but when it came to the crunch, I don't need to do a leak down test. There is a major problem. I just need to see what it is. I think doing the relative compression test, doing the scan data, and putting the camera down, 15 minutes max, and I've got a full story of this engine and know how bad it is, and you know, I can charge accordingly. I can charge, you know, for an hour's labour or more, probably 2 hours even, because it would have taken me that much time had I not have had this modern technology that I use to find these things out. So folks, I'm going to wrap this up now. I'm going to be presenting this to the customer, and I hope I've helped you in, you know, just simple things. It's not complicated things. It's just simple things that help us to get the results that we need. And this is just proof of some of these simple things I use every day. Thank you, folks. That was interesting, folks. I just had a cup of, this is my second cup now. So guys, it's very important to look at things and diagnose things as quickly as possible. In this case, I showed you a couple of different ways. The scan tool way is probably a much easier way. Sometimes we can see which engine's misfiring, but in saying that, when we looked at the Kia, it didn't appear to be misfiring, and so the relevant compression test was probably a better way to go on that one. But either way, it doesn't take a lot of time, and I hope that, you know, these things will help to inspire some of you people if you're not doing this. I'm sure many of you are, but there may be a few that aren't. Talking about being inspired, I'm very much involved in TAT. You see I'm wearing the TAT shirt today. I get their bi-monthly magazine. It's full of very interesting articles of people like yourselves who write into the magazine company or into TAT, who tell the stories of what they've had in their workshops, the problems and their fixes. And it's so encouraging, because when we pull these ideas together, we learn from each other. And nowadays with modern cars, we need to learn as much as we can from each other. We can't survive without each other. So we operate as a team, the TAT team, and I'm very proud to be a part of TAT, and I do wear their shirt with great pride. And I would recommend any person watching this video, if you're in Australia or New Zealand or close by, I would recommend fully on subscribing to TAT. It's such an affordable fee for a year. I think it's only like $135 a year. And the money that you gain from the wealth of knowledge that they can give you. And it's not just about the knowledge they give you. You can get problems and email into the help team, and the help team are there to help you and to help give you advice, to maybe guide you in a direction that can fix some of these problems. So yeah, I just thought to finish off, yeah, I get inspired by people who are like-minded, and in TAT there are so many like-minded people. And yeah, guys, if you need to learn start subscribing to TAT, please. It's worth it. Their website, I think, is www.tat.net.au, and obviously, these books, I just keep every one of them and keep them filed because you can refer back to them. But also being a member gives you access to their webpage too. Their webpage has so much information and known fixes in there as well, so that's very valuable as well. So guys, I'm going to finish up now. I'm going to finish my cuppa and enjoy that. And I hope I've been of some benefit in encouraging some of you. I know some of you I've been maybe a little bit low-tech in what I'm telling you, because there are many high-tech tests that we can do with misfiring. There's first look misfiring, I forget what you call it even, but first look is a Pico attachment that can work off your vacuum, off your exhaust, can detect unevenness there and can cause that misfires cause, and can give you a pattern on the screen for you to diagnose things so easily. So guys, there's so much more. There's much more than I even know. So we just keep learning together. God bless you. Thanks for listening. Enjoy your rest of your day.